Hello, it is good to be with you again today. I have brought one of my very favorite stories to tell. It is a story about that reminds me of my father-in-law. His name was Dominic Pantalone Restivo, and when he was a little boy, lived in a town called Roccamuto in Agrigento in Sicily. And Dominic Pantalone Restivo is a very long name, and he was a very little boy. So most of the time, people just called him Minicuzzo. Minicuzzo was a good boy. He did everything his mama asked. If mama said, Minicuzzo, go out and chase away the cats, phew, those cats were gone. If mama said, Minicuzzo, go out and water the plants, those plants were watered. So when mama said, Minicuzzo, go out and sweep the stairs, phew, Minicuzzo was outside sweeping those stairs. And I don't just mean the middle of the stairs, I mean the sides and the corners as well. He was a good boy. He swept the top stair and the next and the next and the next until he got all the way down to the bottom stair. When he got down to the bottom stair, in the corner was a gold coin. I think I shall go to the marketplace and buy myself some fruit. So he went to the marketplace, he bought himself some fruit, he put it in a bag, and he went back to his home. He climbed the pear tree, sat on a limb with his legs dangling over the side, eating his fruit. Well, as he was busily eating, Old Man Ogre came out of his house and started up the road. He saw Minicuzzo, and he said, "Ooh, Minicuzzo, 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 When he got to the pear tree, he said, Minicuzzo, what do you have there in that sack? And Minicuzzo said, well, I've got some grapes and I've got some apples. Oh, hand me down a grape. So Minicuzzo reached inside of his sack, pulled out a grape, and looked down at Old Man Ogre, and he thought, oh, I don't want to hand it down to Old Man Ogre. What if he grabs hold of me? But his mama did teach him to share. So he tossed the grape down to Old Man Ogre. The grape fell in the dirt and rolled away. Old Man Ogre chased after that grape, picked it up and said, ah, it is covered in dirt. Didn't your mama teach you not to waste your food? Mama did teach him not to waste his food. And so even though his inside said, don't do it, don't do it, he reached inside of that sack, pulled out a grape, and handed it down to Old Man Ogre. As soon as his hand was close enough, Old Man Ogre reached up, grabbed hold of Minicuzzo, and stuffed him in a sack. He threw that sack over his back and started home, saying, Minicuzzo, 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 Well, Minicuzzo was inside of that sack feeling very afraid, and he thought, oh, my inside said, don't do it. But did I listen? What should I do now? What should I do? What should I do? And all at once, he thought he'd get quiet and listen to what his insides were telling him now. So he got real quiet and he listened. And he listened. And all at once, he remembered that inside of his pocket, he had a pocket knife. So he took that pocket knife out, he opened it up, and he cut a hole in that sack. He squeezed out of that sack, dropped down onto the ground, and ran as fast as he could back to his home. He ran up the stairs, he burst through the door, and he said, Mama, Mama, you will not guess what happened. Old Man Ogre grabbed me out of the tree, stuffed me in a sack, threw the sack over. I barely escaped with my life. And Mama said, oh, Minicuzzo, Minicuzzo, you are a clever boy. Minicuzzo, I got something for you. She reached around to the candy dish, which is always full in Sicily, and picked up a piece of candy and popped it in Minicuzzo's mouth. And he spent a sweet day playing away. Now, it must have been windy that night, because when Mama woke up and she looked outside, the stairs, they were covered in dirt again. So she raised her hands up in the air and she said, I must sweep the stairs. And Minicuzzo leapt up and said, no, Mama, let me do it for you. And so out the door he went, and he started sweeping those stairs. He swept the top stair and the next until he got all the way down to the bottom stair. And when he got down to the bottom stair, he found in the other corner a gold coin. I think I shall go to the marketplace and buy myself some vegetables. So he went to the marketplace, he bought some vegetables, he put them in a sack, and he carried them home. When he got to his house, he looked at the pear tree and he thought, I'm not going to climb this pear tree. What if Old Man Ogre should happen to come back out to find me? I'm going to find a place that is even higher. And he looked around and he looked around, and he saw that the roof of his house was very high up off the ground. But that roof slanted backwards. And so at the back of the house, it was not so high up off the ground. So he put up a ladder, he climbed up the ladder, jumped onto the roof, ran to the front, and sat down with his legs dangling over the side. It was about that time that Old Man Ogre came out of his house and started up the road. He saw Minicuzzo and he said, Minicuzzo, 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 He arrived at Minicuzzo's home and he said, Minicuzzo, how did you get so high on that roof? And Minicuzzo said, well, I went around to market. I went to market and I bought some plates. I bought some plates and I stacked plate on top of plate on top of plate, and cup on top of cup on top of cup, and pot on top of pot on top of pot, and pan on top of pan on top of pan. I climbed that dishes, and here I sit. And Old Man Ogre said, and to market he went. He bought plates and cups and pots and pans and carried all of those dishes back to Minicuzzo's home. He stacked plate on top of plate on top of plate. Cup on top of cup on top of cup. Pot on top of, and pan on top of. He climbed that tower of dishes, and that tower of dishes, it began to teeter and totter, and soon that tower of dishes, it fell with such a thud that when Old Man Ogre stood up, he said, oh, ouch. He looked up at Minicuzzo and he said, Minicuzzo, you tricked me yesterday. Minicuzzo, you tricked me today. So Minicuzzo, I am never coming back here again. And home he went, saying, Minicuzzo, 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 Minicuzzo. Yeah. Well, as soon as he was out of sight, Minicuzzo ran to the back of the roof, down the ladder, and around to the front, and such a mess there was. He swept up the broken plates and cups and threw them in the garbage. Then he picked up the pots and the pans. He ran up the stairs. He burst through the door and said, Mama, Mama, here are some pots and pans. And Mama said, Minicuzzo, where did you get those pots and pans? And Minicuzzo told her the whole story. And she said, ay, Minicuzzo, you are a clever boy. Minicuzzo, I got something for you. She reached around to the candy dish, which is always full in Sicily, and got a sour piece of candy and popped that in Minicuzzo's mouth. And and then she reached around and picked out a chewy, sweet piece of candy and popped that in his mouth. And he spent a sweet day. And Mama said, Minicuzzo, you are a good boy. And that's the story of Minicuzzo, which reminds me of Dominic Pantalone Restivo. Down in the description, there are some ideas of what you can do following hearing this story, maybe some fun activities that you might want to do. And a friend of mine also told me that there's a place here that you can subscribe, and then you would, I think, get notifications when a new video comes out. But I'm going to be sending you out a video or uploading a video every school day during the school closures. So I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.